Bernie Sanders gets a lot of guff. Uh, I have no idea why people who consider themselves lefties hate him so much. I think I do. I think it's because they blame Hillary's loss on him and the fact that we have Trump on him, and it's irrational. It's completely irrational. They're not upset at the 40 years of neoliberal corporatism that has effed over people and made them so desperate that they would vote for a game show host clown billionaire as if he's going to look out for them. That's what I would be, but they're not. They can't do that. They can't allow themselves to actually look at the real problem. And here's one of those people. Her name is Mimi Rocah. She's a former federal prosecutor, and she's a criminal justice fellow at the Pace Law School, and she's an NBC and MSNBC legal analyst. I mean, she's getting a check from them to be a legal analyst. Why is that funny? Well, let's watch her substance-free critique of Bernie Sanders, and just imagine her saying this about anyone else. And try to imagine a man saying this about a woman. And watch this.
Sanders and Elizabeth Warren next to each other will really highlight, because for me, as again, I'm not the political analyst here, but just as a woman, probably considered a somewhat moderate Democrat, Bernie Sanders makes my skin crawl, and I can't even identify for you what exactly it is,
But when I'm drinking wine with my friends, we all just say this, and nobody ever pushes back. This is exactly like Barry Weiss and Tulsi Gabbard is she's the motherlode of bad ideas. She's a toady. What's a toady mean? I don't know. Why does Bernie Sanders make your skin crawl? You're on television. I don't know why. Can't tell you. And that's a grown-up person. That's a grown-up. What? So what is it? Is she a victim of unbelievably bad parenting that she would grow up like this? But how would she be able to? Oh, that's right. She works for MSNBC. Well, let's play the rest of it and just watch how ridiculous this is.
I see him as sort of a not pro-woman candidate. And so having the two of them there, I don't understand young women who support him. And I'm hoping that having him next to her will help highlight that, because those are the people.
No, just imagine
flipping it.
Just imagine me going or a male on MSNBC panel saying, I don't understand why men are supporting Elizabeth Warren. I don't know why men would support a woman like that. Can you imagine saying that? By the way, Bernie's outpolling Elizabeth Warren with women. Bernie does better with women than Elizabeth Warren. FYI. So this is a certain kind of derangement. This is like a neurosis. Because this again, she can't even tell you why she feels that way. She admitted it. She goes, I can't even tell you why I feel that way. So there's lots of let's watch how it ends.
But if I were her, I would want to say, well, why are you supporting him and not me if you're going to choose between the two of us?
We'll leave it there. Come back in just a moment. Mike Memley.
We're going to leave it there.
We're going to leave it there. We're going to leave a substance-free smear, a sexist smear. That's what that is. That's a sexist smear. So that woman, this woman,
Mimi
Roach, what is she doing there is a
Sanders
sexist
and
smear.
Elizabeth Warren next to each other will really.
Because she can't tell you why she doesn't like him, and she can't even tell you why he's not pro-woman, because he is pro-woman. And here's what Kerry Dobson says. Please keep telling me that Fox News is horrible. Fox is like a Republican. There is no hidden stuff there. You know what you're going to disagree on. MSNBC pretends to be progressive, but they are extremely hostile to Bernie and Tulsi because they are a threat to corporations and the rich. And that's why that woman is allowed to go on there and say that stuff. That's why she's, I mean, if you had a student say that, you give him an F. She's paid to go on MSNBC, which, remember, fired Phil Donahue for telling the truth about war, and then fired Ed Schultz just for covering Bernie. She's paid to go on and say, this guy makes my skin crawl. Why would a woman vote for this guy? And why? I can't tell you why. But I work at Pace Law School, and I'm a paid legal analyst. Here's what I like. Chuck Modi says, no candidate has stood up stronger for Ilhan Omar than Bernie. Is she not a woman? Nina Turner comes in. Hello. Is Nina Turner not a woman? Yes. So I like this. She says, folks, this nasty woman's name is Mimi Rocah. Her evil hatred for Bernie is just as bad as Trump's hate. Bernie is a champion of women. Bernie is a democratic socialist who cares about people, not money. What makes my skin crawl? Moderate, money-hungry, neoliberal Democrats on MSNBC. Let's face it, Bernie could jump on a live grenade to save a park full of children, and people like Mimi Rocah would complain that he got his guts all over their $1,000 pantsuits. That's pretty good. That's pretty well. That's well done. Who said that? Who said that? That's the other Colin Quinn, or other Colin Green. I didn't know. I didn't even know who the first one is.
I don't either.
Bad John Brown says, I don't think her irrational reason for hating Bernie is because he's Jewish. I think, like many, she's irrationally hates him because Hillary lost to an ignorant racist a-hole, and since they don't want to blame Hillary for that, they externalize and put all the blame on Bernie. Now that makes sense, right, Steph? Do you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. When I was reading about Mimi Rocah, somebody who's educated like this. So what's in it for her?
So do you think that's why? Do you think that's what it is? Ron, do you think that's what it is?
I don't think she even has a reason. I think it's just like
I think her reason is she's bought.
She doesn't know, and that's why it's unbelievable that that's even passed on as news. Like, can you imagine this in a different genre of programming? Like, imagine you turn on ESPN and they're talking about baseball. And they're like, we're going to go to this person. And that person's like, I don't know anything about baseball. I don't really follow baseball. I'm not a baseball person here. But I can't stand the Chicago Cubs. Something about them makes my skin crawl. I don't know why. I just hate them.
But you know what, Jimmy, as I was reading, a lot of people were saying that this is, she's anti-Semitic. And for her to say, he makes my skin crawl, and I don't know why. I don't know, is that a dog whistle kind of thing for her to say that?
No, that's not a dog whistle. A dog whistle would be saying something like, saying Bernie makes my skin crawl is not a dog whistle.
Okay.
That's the opposite, because I tweeted it out and said, just like Trump, MSNBC has dropped the dog whistles, and they're just blatantly smearing Bernie in a sexist way for no reason. That's a sexist smear because he's a fucking guy. And we saw it happen on MSNBC before. When that woman who was a comedian came on and said, we don't need another white, disheveled old white guy to come out. And she, again, substance free, he's white. And he's a guy, and she also threw in an ageist thing that he's old.
And you couldn't, and I don't want the conversations to go that way towards a female. Like all these things, like you keep pointing out, if we flip it and we say this is somebody saying, Elizabeth Warren, she makes my skin crawl.
I can't tell you why.
I can't tell you why.
Can you imagine?
But she grosses me out.
I can't tell you why.
At such a level.
I can't tell you why. It's I
want to know what they're teaching all these lawyers at Harvard. That's what I want to know.
Well, I don't know if she's from Harvard.
Yes, she is.
Is Pace? Is that Harvard?
Well, no, I just know that she studied at Harvard.
She went to Harvard.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. So here's something else. This is the Opinionated Lab says, by accurately stating Clinton's record, it is clear you hate women. That's every centrist since 2015. Mm-hmm. It has to be this, that Hillary lost to an ignorant racist, and since they don't want to blame Hillary for that, they externalize and put that blame on Bernie. And it's all irrational. It's all irrational. Sanders makes my skin crawl, and I don't even know why. And the woman sitting next, by the way, is also sitting next to her is the woman who's the progressive. She's the program director for the Progressive News Channel.
Oh.
On Sirius XM.
And
All
she's been caught literally lying about Bernie time and time again. She lied about that he didn't, and
She's a supporter of Hillary?
and then when she gets called out on it, she just doubles down and ignores it. We've done stories on her. And I don't know. I don't listen to Sirius XM. I don't have it in my car, but I can't imagine how horrible their progressive news channel is. It's got to be fucking horrible.
I just listen to music stuff, so I couldn't help you.
It's got to be a bunch of fucking centrists, goddamn Pod Save America motherfuckers. They're telling you can't have Medicare for all, and that Bernie Sanders should make your skin crawl, but we can't tell you why.
Well,
so that's sitting right next to her. So this person says, "I'm sorry, Steph."
No worries.
So this person says, which is kind of funny.
Whoa.
Zerlina sitting there nodding.
Ha.
These centrists make my skin crawl, and I do know why. What kind of a comfortable privilege makes you hate a man who has fought for the poor and working classes all his life? Done with the Democrats forever.
I'd like Nina Turner to be seated beside that woman
Right?
by Rocah.
They don't, yeah. Anywhere you see Zerlina Maxwell, you can know by default it's a propagandistic shit show. She collects checks directly from David Brock. They're in cahoots with David Brock over at their progressive. Did you know this? Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're joining forces. Mm-hmm. She collects checks directly from David Brock, and also MSNBC is the collaborator network. Never shocked when they scrape the bottom of the barrel. By the way, here is Gloria Steinem pronouncing Bernie Sanders an honorary woman. That's how pro-woman Bernie Sanders has been his whole life.
I'm only here today to make Bernie Sanders an honorary woman.
When you talk about women's rights, it means, to me, very importantly, economic rights, the right to earn a good living to take care of your family.
Women are earning less than 60% of what men do.
Women make 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. They want the whole damn dollar. They're right. Of the women in the United States who found full-time jobs were earning the poverty wage. Stand with the women of this country. Demand pay. If you say to a mother with 2 kids, well, you have to get off of welfare, even though there is no job, there is no transportation to get to the job, there is no child care to take care of that child.
Families are spending outrageous percentages of their incomes to send their kids to decent daycare.
The United States government must provide at least 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave.
To make sure that every working parent with kids in this country has access to publicly funded, high-quality child care.
Do you know that child care workers in many instances are paid less than McDonald's workers?
Their work is as important or more important than college professors.
Started a shelter for battered women and a whole host of programs.
These volunteers, most of whom are women, are doing an extraordinary job in counseling and supporting the victims of domestic violence. But they need help. I have a 100% lifetime pro-choice voting record.
But when it comes to women's rights and the right of a woman to make the difficult decision with regard to an abortion.
In that case, my Republican colleagues love the government and want the government to make that choice for every woman in America. You're not going to cut or defund Planned Parenthood. You're going to put more money into Planned Parenthood.
And we're talking about the...
Okay, so there you go. He can go on and on and on and on and on and on.
That's what annoys me about Bernie. He just always says the same stuff. He's consistent. So annoying. Do you remember that? Like someone...
Yes.
I think it was like Marcos.
Yes, that was the guy, the
he
Daily
just
Kos
keeps
guy.
saying the same thing for 40 years. He stood on the same principles. Boring.
But talk about mental gymnastics to try to slam a guy. I've been a victim of that. It's funny to watch. It's funny to watch. I mean, what an unbelievable, ridiculous thing. But now there's no shame. Like, no, if I went on a television or anywhere and I said something that stupid, which there's a good chance I could or already have, I feel shame when people point out that I did something stupid. I feel badly. They have no conscience. They have the shame mechanism has been removed from their brains, people like the Daily Kos guy. No shame mechanism. I don't know how they were raised. I don't know what their parents didn't do to them. But they don't feel shame when they do. When he goes on a national television show and says something as ridiculous as that about Bernie Sanders. That woman doesn't feel bad on MSNBC. You know what she does? She blocks you if you point it out to her that she's an idiot. She'll block you on Twitter. And let's remember, the MSNBC sucks. They fired Ed Schultz for even covering Bernie Sanders. So if you get a chance to go on MSNBC, you should probably bring that up. Because I know I would, which is why they'll never, ever fucking have me on MSNBC, which suits me just fine, by the way.
We can never have you. We don't even know why. We don't.
They fired Ed Schultz for covering Bernie Sanders. They fired Ed Schultz for covering Bernie Sanders. You're going to go on that show and cover politics on that network, and you're not going to fucking bring that up? Cowards. So let's remember the mainstream news media. They're not your friend. Chris Hayes, Rachel Maddow, fake tough guy Lawrence O'Donnell, Chris Matthews, they're not working in your interest. They're there to forward the interests of the goddamn corporate state that they are the fucking well-paid puppets of. Let's not forget, that's not just MSN, CNN too. Remember this? Is that a Trump rally? Where is that?
Chanting CNN sucks about 10 minutes ago. They said the same thing and they called for the Young Turks, chanting TYT, TYT. Basically, they're calling out the mainstream media for the coverage of this election.
So that's that. Again, they'll want you to. They're right now. They're telling you it's just Trump supporters that hate the media, the corporate media. It's not. It's anybody who gives a shit about this country. Is sick and tired of the corporate news media. So there you go. That's as if you needed more proof of what a cesspool, what a swamp of bullshit. And you go ahead, tell me how MSNBC, go Elizabeth Warren, you tell me how MSNBC does the right thing, how MSNBC is their fair players. And that's why you're not going to go on how it's the other news networks that sow hate and disinformation. They're nothing but evidence-free fucking conspiracy theorists who make sure they don't tell you the truth about war or progressive politicians, because if they do, their ass will be fired. If Chris Hayes had any balls, he would have been fired fucking years ago, but he doesn't. He's a nutless fucking wonder. Next live Jimmy Dore show, August 2nd in Burbank, California. Then we go to Denver, San Francisco, Baltimore, Seattle, and Honolulu for Christmas. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com for a link for all tickets and become a patron or a premium member. We give you tons of bonus material and lots more. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com. Sign up, become a member. Couldn't do it without your support.